Today, I am giving the title of The World's Most Horrible People to this pathetic excuse for a person, Toby Bridges. Toby Bridges runs a anti-wolf website. He also has a hate group directed towards wolves. And this sicko, along with his followers, often like to boast and brag about torturing wolves and making them suffer more when they kill them. He has also advocated for killing wolves illegally. And this was before wolves even lost their protected status from a crooked budget bill writer and political maneuvering. But even then, he was advocating for killing wolves by using xylitol to illegally kill them. He was advocating for shoot, shovel, and shut up. And on top of that, he and his followers often troll the internet looking for people who are wolf supporters to harass, torment, and threaten, and cyberbully. Many a times, people have complained to the authorities about this sick, sadistic individual, and the authorities have, for the most part, done nothing. They just let this POS continue to do what he does. But the minute anybody that's a wolf supporter finally has enough of his harassment and they say something or anything even remotely threatening to this guy, all of a sudden the authorities come down on the wolf supporter. It's a double standard and it needs to stop now. The bottom line is that this POS has been allowed to get away with the things he has done for too long. Recently, he boasted and bragged about purposely running over wolves and killing them with his wife's van. And I'm going to show you that right now, because what he did also made major media, and he's getting a lot of heat for it, as he should. And a lot of people are pushing for this POS to be brought up on charges and have some form of legal action taken against him, which he needs to have legal action taken against him. A lot of the things that these wolf haters and wolf killers have done is very sadistic, very cruel, and very disgusting. And they have been allowed to get away with too much. These sick, pathetic excuses for people have gone too far for too long. And it's time for things to change and for these sick lowlives to start being held accountable and to start having action taken against them for the things they do. It's time to put an end to their little entitlement over wildlife policies too. But anyway, I'm going to show you the news story. And here it is here. Missoula man runs down wolves, brags on Facebook. By John S. Adams, September 19th, 2014. Helena, a Montana Fish and Wildlife Parks law enforcement official, said Friday the agency is looking into a Missoula anti-wolf extremist Facebook claim that he purposefully ran down a pair of wolves on Interstate 90 just east of the Idaho-Montana border. Montana FWP Region 2 Warden Captain Joseph Jocketh said they were aware of Toby Bridges' Facebook post in which he brags about killing 2 young wolves with his wife's van. We're trying to determine, first of all, what exactly we can do with something somebody says on Facebook with no other physical evidence, Jocketh said. Whether or not it's true remains to be seen. Bridges, who runs an anti-wolf website and Facebook page called Lobo Watch, on Tuesday posted pictures on Facebook and described in graphic detail how he accelerated his vehicle in an apparent attempt to intentionally run down the wolves. Bridges did not respond to an email seeking comment. Bridges described a scene in which he claims a group of wolves were chasing a cow and calf elk across the highway about 4 miles east of Lookout Pass. Bridges said he let off the brake and hit the accelerator. Just past MM4 Mile Maker 4, a cow, elk, and calf suddenly ran right out onto Interstate 90. And I let up on the gas and had just started to brake, in case more elk followed, Bridges wrote. What followed were 2 adult wolves. The cow jumped over the concrete barrier separating west and east traffic lanes. The calf stayed on my side, and both were running up the highway towards the pass. The wolves went after the calf, and I let off the brake and hit the accelerator as I was going to save that calf. Bridges said his vehicle was driving approximately 55 miles per hour when suddenly 4 young wolves shot right out in front of me. There was no time to hit the brakes, like I really would, and I heard 2 distinct loud thumps, Bridges wrote. Out of my mirror, I saw an almost black 50-pound wolf spinning around in the middle of the highway, with one very apparent, very badly broken back leg. In the other mirror, I saw one slightly smaller wolf rolling onto the shoulder. In graphic detail, Bridges describes the scene and the sounds the badly injured wolves made in agony. At the sound of the wolf pup with the broken leg squealing, the 2 adult wolves cut back across the highway in front of the van and shot up the side of the steep slope. I drove onto the pass, came back down the other side where I could get back on the westbound lane, and came back to where the dead wolf laid on the shoulder. I saw the other pup dragging a broken leg, topping a steep bank about 80 or 90 yards up slope. Just as it went back into the timber, I thought about going up and putting the young wolf out of its misery. Then I gave that second thought. The 2 adult wolves were still in the very close vicinity, and I did not have a gun in the van. According to his narrative, Bridges then pulled his vehicle over to take pictures of the scene. While I snapped a few photos, I heard the pup howling in distress, and a few minutes later I heard quite a ruckus up above. Then all went quiet. I do believe that the adult wolves finished off their severely injured offspring. Early on in the post, Bridges said he accelerated towards the wolves, but later claims striking the wolves with his car was an accident. 2 wolves out of the equation, and it was all an accident. I love it when things go good, Bridges wrote. Jockett said in general it is illegal and very unsporting to intentionally run animals down with a vehicle. It's very unsporting regardless of how you feel about wolves or lawful means for harvest of wolves, which harvest is a euphemism for kill them. Certainly running them down on the highway is not what we would accept, Jockett said. Actually, in my opinion, killing wolves should not be accepted at all, especially with the way they were taken off the endangered species list. Last year, a federal prosecutor charged 6 members of a Montana Hutter Lake colony for killing and burying 2 grizzly bears after chasing them down in vehicles until the bears succumbed to exhaustion. The colony was fined nearly $20,000 in the deaths. Wolves are no longer managed by the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service after they were removed from Federal Endangered Species Act protections through a rider, Senator John Tester, Democrat of Montana, attached to a 2011 budget bill. So, as you can see, the wolves were not really unendangered, but they were taken off the endangered species list by crooked politicians to pander to certain special interests, like this sadist Toby Bridges here. Anyway, as we go on, Brooks Fahey of the National Wildlife Conservation Organization Predator Defense said, Bridges' post is part of a growing online subculture of individuals who post graphic pictures and stories of predators being purposefully maimed, tortured, and killed in online forums and on social media sites. In recent years, Federal Forest Service and U.S. Department of Agriculture Wildlife Service agents have come under public scrutiny after posting graphic pictures online of wounded predators and traps. In one instance, a Federal Wildlife Services agent posted photos of his domestic dogs attacking a coyote caught in a leg hold trap. To me, it's like a hate crime, Fahey said. You look at the language in these posts and it starts feeling very psychopathic. I'm very concerned about this. Fahey also questioned whether state and federal wildlife protection and law enforcement agencies are doing enough to try to curb the illegal killing and torturing of wolves and other predators. Fahey said as the controversy surrounding wolves continues to build, wildlife agencies appear to be turning a blind eye to disturbing online posts. This type of vitriol and hatred tends to build as it goes unchallenged, Fahey said. One thing that's very disconcerting so far is in the northern Rockies, Montana, Idaho, and Wyoming is where constantly hearing of animals being intentionally gut shot, dead wolves being posed in disturbing positions for photos. As far as I'm aware, none of these agencies, including Montana, have come out and publicly said this is deplorable, this language is deplorable. Jockett said FWP is taking the matter seriously, but at the same time he defended Bridges' right to free speech. This is a very recent thing. We're not going to rush into it, Jockett said. We're going to look at it. We're going to see exactly where it falls. We've had incidences where it takes a little bit of time to figure out what we're going to do about something. We're taking a look at it. We're not turning a blind eye to it. Now, you know, these wildlife officials, unless some serious heat is put on them, are probably going to let this bastard get away with what he did. Because these wildlife agents are also nothing but a bunch of hunters with badges themselves. And many of the wildlife agents that work in Montana Fish and Wildlife also hate wolves themselves. So what I have noticed is law enforcement continues to let these sick individuals continue to do what they do. And it's time that we speak out and put a stop to it. It's time that we speak out and basically tell them we are no longer going to accept this kind of behavior, and we're no longer going to accept the current policies regarding wolves and wildlife. Basically, what this guy Toby Bridges did not only shows even more of just how sick and sadistic these wolf haters and wolf killers really are, but it also shows that once again, this is another reason why wolves need to have protection. Anyway, for those of you that feel just as disgusted about what this POS Toby Bridges did and want him to finally have justice served on him for what he has done and what he does and possibly might try to continue to do, I'm going to show you this here. This is from Predator Defense, and it says, "Let's stop this Montana wolf killer." Please contact authorities today and urge them to decry and investigate Toby Bridges, a Montana man who intentionally ran down wolves with his vehicle. He has a long history of hating and killing wolves and has publicly stated he wants all wolves dead. It is never a good time to be a wolf in Montana, but actions last week by a known wolf hater there really take the cake. A man named Toby Bridges claims he intentionally ran down 2 wolves on I-90 outside of Missoula with his vehicle. He then bragged about it on Facebook. His behavior is reprehensible and we need your help calling him to task, demanding a full investigation by Montana wildlife authorities. Please rally everyone you can to contact the Governor and Montana Fish and Wildlife and Parks, FWP, as detailed below. Tell them you are horrified by Bridges' actions and the state needs to come out publicly and say this behavior is deplorable and that they must fully investigate whether he should be charged with a crime against wildlife. In addition to possible poaching or weapons violations, Bridges running down the wolves is a hate crime, and he has been known for years as a wolf hater. He runs an anti-wolf website and Facebook page. Although he's threatening to shut it down due to pro-wolf comments folks are posting, his words on both prove his hatred. He has even posted instructions on how to poison a wolf online, poisoned his killed dogs, and threatened humans. Contact the authorities and voice your outrage now. Please help us flood the Governor's office and Montana Fish, Wildlife, and Parks with outrage right away. And here are the ways to contact. The Governor's office, phone number 406-444-3111. Toll-free number 855-318-1330. Fax number 406-444-5529. Online comment governor.mt.governor/home/contact/shareopinion.aspx. Montana Fish, Wildlife, and Parks, Missoula office. Phone number 406-542-5500. Fax 406-542-5529. Email fwprg22@mt.gov. Montana Fish, Wildlife, and Parks headquarters. Phone number 406-444-2535. Fax 406-444-4952. Email fwpgen@mt.gov. Director's office 406-444-3186. Office hours Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Now, for all of you who feel just as disgusted and as outraged as what myself and many others do over this POS and the sadistic things that he says about doing to wolves and does to wolves, get on the phone, get on your computer, and start calling and emailing the officials and bring this POS to justice. Thank you.